Graham, a game of two halves, ultimately not the result we were after, but how do you assess today's game?
Nowhere near good enough in the first half, obviously. I think the scoreline suggests that, and we were way too passive. So I'll take my share of the blame in that. I think we tried to set them to be compact, but that wasn't the case, and Notts County cut us open several times, and but we still had opportunities to score in that first half, even at 0-0 and 1-0, which would have given us a little bit more encouragement to be a bit more aggressive and change the momentum of the first half. But we didn't take those opportunities, and then we obviously scored a couple of goals in quick succession. Half time was we wanted to almost play it as if it was a completely different game. You know, we had to understand that coming back from 4-0 down is a massive task. We had to go out and try and win the second half and bin the first half and make sure that we went out and played in a completely different fashion, much more on the front foot, much more risk, much more aggression, and we won the second half 2-0. Obviously we lose the game, but for me the players responded in the way we hoped they would at half time, because there was a lot of pressure on us coming out in front of a massive backing from us, live on Sky. Everyone would have been asking us, our players and myself, a lot of questions about our mentality, but I think we showed that we can have the right mentality, but it's about approaching the game from minute one in the right way. But there are factors for that we have to take into account. I was delighted with how we played in the second half, and it was much more positive performance. Even if we hadn't scored the goals, it was just much better, much more competitive, much less respect for the opponent, and that's sort of got to be the benchmark for us going forward.
It's a real sickener, isn't it, when you look at periods of the game in between the first two goals and then the goals that we conceded towards the end of the first half.
Yeah.
Had that have not happened with the way that we performed in the second half, we might be leaving here with something.
Yeah, but you know, let's not beat around the bush. We weren't good enough in the first half, but we did have those opportunities, and like you say, I think the two goals towards late in the first half sort of made it even more difficult. I think at 2-0 we would have been still talking about trying to win the game, but I just thought those two goals sort of put a lot of doubt in our players' mind, and instead of taking one step forward, we took one step back on nearly every action. And you can't play like that against any opponent, let alone a team as good as Notts County at home. So second half, like you say, I thought we had much less respect for the opponent. I thought we backed ourselves a little bit more. I think we were more aggressive in the 1v1 duels, and we came out on top in the second half. And to be fair, I still think we had the opportunities to get something out of the game. In the second half, we had some brilliant chances, and we just couldn't take them. But it was promising to score two goals, which we haven't done for a long time. But obviously, the game was over 90 minutes, and we weren't good enough.
You mentioned on Thursday about recovering from going a goal down, and that seeming to be a bit of a trend both before you arrived and obviously since. Another early goal conceded. Is it a bit of a mentality switch that needs to happen in order to start games on the front foot and make sure that we're in the driving seat going forward? Yeah,
I think we have to look at the first 10 minutes as a completely different game, as in, well, let's make sure that we don't concede, let's be aggressive, let's put the opponent on the back foot for 10 minutes until the game calms down. But by the time the game does calm down, we're 1-0 down at the moment in the last 4 games, I think. So you know, one or two can be unlucky, but 4 on the bounce is a little habit or a little pattern, so we have to correct that without a shadow of doubt, because you know, the first goal is so crucial in a lot of games in English football. The stats tell you that, and I think it deflates you. You know, when we've worked so hard all week, which the players have, in their preparation for the game, and then you find yourself a goal down so quickly. And not in great fashion for you know, as far as I'm concerned, but there's little bits and pieces where we can correct tactically to make sure we improve. But the second half is something that we can build from. That's what we have to focus on. We have to go, right, what did we do well in the second half, and really take the game to the opponent and really put them on the back foot and make it very uncomfortable for them. You know, that I don't think Notts County would have enjoyed the second half, because they didn't have time on the ball, and we created several chances to score.
You mentioned the positive second half finally. I guess ending the game in the manner that we did, the second 45 minutes probably helps heading into Tuesday's game with the quick tight turnaround, look to go again. Yeah,
I believe so, and I think you know, look, it was a sore one for us all to take, especially the supporters who've come down in numbers. But you know, I hope they take heart from the second half, and I hope they take heart that we understand where we have to improve right from the start of games and take that second half performance over full game. So we need to start the game on Tuesday in that fashion, how we finish that one. On the front foot, creating opportunities, not giving many away, and just and backing ourselves and having a bit more self-esteem about what we are as an individual, what we are as a team, and actually and commit to the actions. That's what it is. And there's a lot of work to do that, but they've shown signs in both games that I've been here in the second half that we can be a competitive team. But the game's over 95 minutes, so we have to understand that there's a lot of work to do.